Hey guys, Mars Naked here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be looking at the Super Strike EZA Chilled that just came out on JP. I believe he is the final Super Strike unit to get an EZA. So whilst nothing has obviously been said or announced or anything just yet, it'll be very interesting to see if they decide to do anything. We kind of discussed this when these units first started getting their EZAs. Whether we'd get some kind of special event akin to what the Prime Battle Goku event was back in the day when it first came out, where you could only use the Super Strike characters. It'll be interesting to see if we get some kind of future Extreme Z area or something where you can only use the EZA Super Strike characters. But either way, we have Lord Chilled here. He is the last one. I've got his translations up here. So basically, he doesn't have any start of turn stats, which is interesting, but he gets 30% attack and defense for each key sphere obtained, and he gets an extra 30% with each key sphere if they're int key sphere. So 60% per key sphere if they are int. And then when he super attacks, he gets 60% attack and defense on super. So that will be 60% of whatever the number shows. Once we pick up the orbs, we'll see his defense go up in the team screen, and then he'll get 60% of that when he supers. If you have 2 or more Wicked Bloodline allies in addition to himself on the team, he gets 2 key and 50% chance to crit and 50% chance to dodge. So 2 very good abilities. Having 50% chance to crit built in basically means you don't have to give him any crit in his hidden potential, in my opinion. So I've given him full dodge and full additional. Being an int unit with some skill orbs, he's at like 20 for each, right? So you want him to be able to potentially do an additional because his super attack effect is greatly raise defense for 1 turn, does immense damage to the enemy, and greatly reduce attack, which obviously there have been some of the newer events on JP where you can actually attack lower the bosses, so that is kind of useful. He also gets, when there are 2 or more super type enemies at the start of the turn, he has a high chance to stun all enemies. So I suppose for like future Super Battle Road stages and things like that, that could be quite useful. Otherwise, not really anything too crazy. But the 60% per orb and then 60% on super is obviously going to be very good. The only downside for him, really, just like with many Super Strike characters, is his links. Because he has links like Super Strike, Bombardment, which only the Super Strike characters have. He's a Shattering the Limit unit. He has Coward, which isn't a great link. So we're running him on the Frieza team here. So we can see how well he does. He's obviously going to get, by having the 2 Frieza leads, he already has 2 Wicked Bloodline allies on the team. And then Frieza's team can also run the 60% support Vegeta. So we'll see how well that factors in here. As you can see, start of turn, we only have 100k defense, but we haven't picked up any orbs yet. So I was hoping we could maybe get some more int ones to drop down, but I guess we'll have to go for the non-int orbs. So we can pick up 7 orbs here. That puts us to 237k, which means he'll get on super from his passive, he's getting 60%, right? So that's going to be somewhere in the region of like 120. He's going to go up to about 350-ish. Then he also has the greatly raises on super. So he probably will be around 500k defense, which, I mean, obviously that's not great, right? It's not anything crazy. But he will be tanking most normals across some of the content here. Obviously, the newer, more difficult content, enemies are starting to hit really hard with their normal attacks, especially after supering. But because we do have the 2 Wicked Bloodline allies, we do, of course, have the 50% chance to dodge, as well as the dodge from the hidden potential. So 5.6 is the first attack stat we're getting here. Now, that's with 7 orbs, and they're not int. So the big thing for this guy, of course, is going to be actually being able to pick up int orbs. And you can see there against this early phase Goku, even though he is physical, we can lower attack, but we got a dodge and then tanking for double-digit damage. This Vegeta has enough int allies on the team to be guarding, so still a decent bit of damage, but I think we'll float off. We'll float off the Doria. We'll get a super for Frieza just because we want this Frieza to get built up a little bit here. Float the Doria off here for the support. It's beneficial for this team to be like a 3rd slot floater because he gets the buffs from having the Frieza on rotation. So, but yeah, I mean, Chilled seems interesting. I think the thing that struck me when I first saw his passive, and I saw a lot of people a bit apprehensive, is the fact that obviously he has no start of turn stats. But if you are able to pick up int orbs, then obviously Chilled is getting a lot of, you know, a lot of numbers from those orbs, right? 60% per key sphere obtained. So it's interesting that on this Freezer team you can run the 50-60% support Vegeta, because if we're at low enough HP, then obviously he can create a whole bunch of int orbs, which would be kind of interesting. So let's see, we got type advantage here. Now with the Freezer, now that we don't have like that Vegeta for shattering the limit and brutal beatdown, we only have 2 links active. So our start of turn defense is 61k, which is obviously quite bad. We can get 9 orbs here. Unfortunately, there's just no int orbs. So we'll go ahead and get the 9 orbs. That puts us up to, yeah, 227. That does mean we are basically going to be relying on the dodge here, though, right? Pre-super. Because I think even with type advantage, we wouldn't necessarily take double digits. Yeah, 65k. I mean, I suppose that's not terrible for a unit that's definitely not designed to be in slot 1. There you can see 4.8 mil. It's nothing particularly crazy. We do get the crit as well as the attack lower. And then, of course, he tanks for double digits after supering. The 60% on super and then 50% extra defense from his super attack effect obviously does go a long way. And then having that 50% chance to dodge built in is obviously going to be very beneficial as well. And now Frieza getting his extra attacks here. Now that he's up to 5 attacks, we're getting the bigger attack stats. He should eat this, right, despite the type disadvantage. Although he did do a bunch of additional normals. But yeah, he still takes double-digit damage. I mean, obviously, this Goku doesn't hit the hardest, but this is stage 1 of the blue zone. Thought it'd be a good one to just go up against a super-type enemy here, but not a ridiculously hard stage, just to see how Chilled gets on. But I should really have thought to bring an orb-changing item, just so we could see an actual crazy in orbs turn from him, because yeah, there's just not really going to be a lot of orb changes that are relevant and worth running outside of that Vegeta, of course. So we need to try and get some good RNG. I need to save, well, unfortunately, I was going to say here would be a perfect opportunity that we can actually save some int orbs, but of course we're now going to end up killing him on this turn anyway. So unfortunately, we're not going to get to take advantage of all of those. And of course, we'll get the next new phase start here. And I'm sure we'll get incredibly unlucky with the orb. So let's see. We need something like that where we get Vegeta floating in slot 7 and actually get a good orb change turn. But yeah, see, this is just not it. Not it, Chief. 4 is not what we want to see. I guess we could use the active skill for you. So you get your on super buff here. And then we'll just put him in slot 1. Have to hope he doesn't just eat a super. Well, he won't eat a super now, right? Because we're action breaking the attack out of slot 1. And then let's see how... these aren't even going to drop. I don't know. Are they going to connect those rainbow orbs? He does have brutal beatdown and coward with Dodoria, so that's interesting. Okay, yeah, those did not in any way drop the way I thought they would. Well, so we have 92k defense start of turn. We can get 1 in orb, which means we get 60% from that one and then 30% from the rainbow orb. That only puts us at 147k. So 60% of that, we're going up to about, what, 220, 230-ish, and then the super attack effect as well. So if we're lucky, about 350k defense. But yeah, this God Goku reduces damage received from all non-tech units. So we will be able to stay in this stage for a couple of turns, I think. Which means we will be able to get to the Vegeta floating in on this next turn for Chilled. So I'm going to try and save all the int orbs we can ready for this next Chilled turn. Because that's the turn where you are going to see like some big numbers from him. The problem is, of course, is consistency, right? Now, we haven't had many turns in this run where we've been able to get decent amount of orbs. We got, was it 9 was the highest on one of them? Which was decent, but we still, they weren't int orbs. So we weren't exactly rocking a crazy attack stat or anything. Super attack animation's decent though, considering it's free to play. Finally got an additional, but it was only a normal. And then now we're going to eat a super, right? Come on, you got to dodge this. No, Chilled. Well, we're dead. He ain't living this. So we'll jump back in. Let's actually bring an orb changing item here. Yep, game over. Yeah, I mean, 50% chance to dodge, relying on a coin flip to be able to dodge an attack like that is not really ideal. I don't want to bring the one that is giving him the extra attack buff as well. So I'm just going to bring the normal orb change. Because obviously the normal, like, the nuking items that give the extra huge amount of attack. Of course, he's in slot 7. Okay, so I jumped back in with an orb changing item, and Chilled was on turn 2. So I thought we'd play out turn 1. Ate a huge super in slot 1. So as you can see, we've started the second turn with very low HP and therefore gotten the full orb change with the int Vegeta. So this is obviously not a common turn that you would see, but we can now go ahead and get all of these int orbs. So we got strongest clan in space and first for conquest gives us 98k defense. So yeah, you are still better off being next to Vegeta, at least defensively. So 23 orbs. Bear in mind, if we just get the calculator up here quickly, so I can just do a very quick 23 times 60. 1,380% attack and defense he's now going to get. Now, of course, like I say, this is not a common turn, right? We're not going to expect to see this, like, regularly when we're using him. But there you go. Start of turn defense, 950k. He's going to get 60% on super, which means he's going to be over, like, just over 1.5 million. And then he gets the 50% defense raise from his super attack effect as well. So obviously this is going to be a very, very good turn for him. But like I say, this is not what we would expect to see on a regular turn. Yeah, 20 mil. So I mean, you know, nukers be nuking, right? Like, if you get all the orbs, especially the entire field of orbs, then yeah, obviously we're going to be doing some big numbers both offensively and defensively, but not very common that you will see that. And then of course, when it comes to the orb changing for that Vegeta, it's the kind of thing that can come in handy a lot later on. When you could be in need of a heal. I mean, to be fair, it works out fine in this example, right? Like, we took a lot of damage on the first turn, lost a load of HP, came into the second turn, and then basically able to just get a full heal straight away off of this ability from the Vegeta. So that is really good. Now, unfortunately, this means we are going to kill him here, which ideally I would like to... Ideally, I would like to say be able to set up orbs, right? Because there's a load of physical orbs here now, which is what the item changes, right? It's physical to int. So if I was to use an orb changing item on the next turn, we'd get a pretty decent amount of int orbs altogether. But sadly, we are going to kill Super Saiyan Goku on this turn. So we'll see what the next orb field is looking like. And again, this is a problem with orb, like, nuking style units, is even if you're trying to set up orbs for them, you can end up coming undone because of the RNG, right? Like, I mean, here, another really bad turn for even just any nuker in general. Like, we can get 5 orbs in slot 1 is the most we can get. So let's go for, we'll do the active skill with Frieza so he gets the start of turn defense buff. And then we can put him in slot 1. I don't know if we will be able to get... any even decent amount of... There's not really many physical... That's the thing, we get really unlucky as well, because the orb changing item, like I say, changes physical. And there's barely any physical orbs, like, on the field. So let's grab these. I mean, there's like 2 int orbs at the top. Does that even... Will that even really make a difference? Let's see. It means we get 5 orbs, but 2 of them are int, which is definitely a very realistic turn. Yeah, see, and that puts us under 200k, which is not great. So it means after supering, we're probably going to be lucky if we get to 400k. So Chilled definitely has the potential if you can get the orbs with him, which is, you know, that's always been the story with nuking style units. And at least he does have the sort of defensive backup where if you're not getting a lot of orbs and he's not going to have particularly good defense for that turn, he does at least have the 50% chance to dodge. But then, you know, in those circumstances where you're not getting a lot of orbs, he's a dodge or die unit where his dodge chance is just a coin flip, right? It's 50% chance you're going to die and, like, lose the run potentially. So we'll see what happens here if he actually Okay, there's the dodge. All right, there you go. So, I mean, that kind of turn works out nicely. The only problem is when he's in that kind of situation, it's like he didn't really do any damage. And then, yeah, he didn't take damage, but it's kind of like, you know, it's like, what did he really do on that turn? So, like, why would we have him on the team? Now, Frieza's team needs a lot of help. Frieza's team, we already know, is not particularly good. So having this Chilled on there is kind of an interesting one. I was thinking about putting this Scout of Vegeta on the team when I first made it, like when I did the original showcase, but I didn't really know, like, who to put on the team with him, because the Scout of Vegeta, in order to get his full potential, he obviously wants to have a bunch of int allies. And there's not really many on Frieza's team that are super good. Like, we got Harudagan and we got Dodoria. But having Chilled now to be that third extra int character, that means you can then run this Scout of Vegeta and he can still be quite good. Now, obviously, he's a nuking style unit as well. And I've kind of tried to get set up here so we can have the orbs for Chilled. Didn't want to give too many orbs to anyone else on the rotation. So, of course, there is still the possibility that Vegeta gets killed here. Frieza should be able to eat a super if he gets super attacked, depending on how many supers he does during this turn. So that would probably be the ideal scenario if God Goku is going to super this turn, that he supers Frieza. But even then, we know Frieza's defensive tech isn't the craziest, but on a turn where you can get a bunch of supers off, his defense obviously is going to be very high. So let's see how we go here. He could just not super at all. That would be nice. But I have a horrible feeling that this Vegeta is about to get clapped. I did not get a lot of orbs for him to try and save them for Chilled. 82. Just don't super? Oh, of course he did. Bruh, with the guard, like, even taking 82 from normals. And then, yeah, we're going to die to this. So, I mean, you can kind of see the issues, right? Like, if you get a decent amount of orbs for Chilled, he can do okay. But just the finickiness of trying to actually get orbs and trying to set up orbs for him. And even if you're someone who doesn't care about using items, if you're going to jump into any of these really difficult events, are you going to be bringing an orb changing item instead of like a defensive item? Probably not. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. He has the potential to be okay, but I think we definitely need to see another, like, we need a good orb changer for this team. And then maybe, because especially with being able to run Vegeta as well, if you could get a decent int orb changer for Frieza's team, both of those units would be able to cook. So that'd be interesting. But let me know what you guys think of Chilled down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.